The Adobe Premiere Pro versus Sony Vegas Pro debate has been going on for years, and depending on who you ask, you'll hear completely different answers. Some swear by the clean, professional workflow in Premiere Pro, while others love the speed and flexibility of Sony Vegas. But here's the thing most people don't talk about. The best choice really depends on what kind of creator you are, and there's one major difference between the two that could completely change the way you edit. Stick around to the end, because there's a pretty surprising twist when it comes to audio editing, something that might actually tip the scales in favor of Vegas, especially if you're working on YouTube or podcast content. And if you do end up going with Premiere, I've linked a full step-by-step beginner tutorial down in the description to get you started the right way. Now, Premiere Pro is one of those programs that just looks professional from the moment you open it. It's used by editors in film, TV, and big content agencies. You've got advanced color grading tools, perfect keyframe control, high-level effects, seamless Adobe integration. And once you get the hang of it, you can do just about anything. But let's be real for a second. It's not the most welcoming software if you're brand new. Premiere Pro can feel overwhelming, especially if you've never edited before. The layout, the menus, the timeline settings, there's a lot going on, and that can slow down your creativity if you're just trying to get a project out quickly. That's where Sony Vegas Pro pulls ahead for some people. Vegas has this reputation for being faster to learn and easier to navigate, especially for solo creators or anyone who doesn't want to spend weeks learning how to trim a clip. The timeline feels more direct. You drag, you drop, you move things around, and it just works. You don't have to dig through menus to make a simple edit, and that speed can be a huge plus when you're working on tight deadlines or posting content consistently. But Vegas isn't perfect either. One thing that bugs a lot of users, and this is where Premiere really wins, is stability. Vegas has had a long history of crashing at the worst times, especially on older or underpowered machines. It's definitely improved over the years, but it's still something to watch out for. That said, if your setup is solid and you keep things updated, you might not even notice. Where Sony Vegas Pro really shines, though, is audio control. Most people don't think about this up front, but if you do voiceovers, sound design, or any kind of dialogue-heavy content, Vegas gives you some surprisingly deep audio tools right out of the gate. You can adjust fade, EQ, and tweak everything without bouncing between other programs, which saves a lot of time and frustration. But still, Adobe Premiere Pro has the edge when you want that professional polish. The color tools alone are worth it. Lumetri Color gives you insane control over your final look, and when paired with After Effects or Photoshop, the creative options are almost endless. That's something Sony Vegas just can't replicate on the same level. So if you're aiming to build a brand, create cinematic content, or really dial in your visual style, Premiere is hands down the better investment long term. So here's the takeaway. Adobe Premiere Pro versus Sony Vegas Pro isn't really about which one is better overall. It's about what fits your style and goals. If you're after pro-level control, tighter integrations, and long-term creative growth, Premiere Pro is probably your best bet. But if you want something that's faster to learn and easier to get results with right now, Sony Vegas still deserves a serious look. And remember, if you do go with Premiere but you're feeling stuck or not sure where to begin, check out the beginner tutorial I linked below. It'll walk you through the entire process without all the tech jargon. Whichever one you choose, just make sure it actually helps you create more. The worst thing is sitting on good ideas just because the software feels like a wall. Premiere Pro and Sony Vegas both have their strengths. You just have to pick the one that lets you stay in your flow.